Namaskar and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Prashant Mahabani. I hope you all are doing good. Let's see what we have got in the PIB today. But before that, our special topic today is autonomy for higher education. We will talk about innovation and we will also discuss important things that should be done so that we can convert our economy into a knowledge-based economy. And the reason why I have taken this particular topic is because you find questions based on education every year in your mains examination. With this, identify the person that you can see on your screen. The last person was Taimur Lung. Now, Taimur Lung is grandfather of Baba, and Taimur Lung came here in our country, in India. He attacked Delhi, but he was not interested in ruling Delhi, so he went back. So this is the history. This is how he is associated with Mughal Sultanate. With this, dear friends, if you want to download PDF of this lecture, then you have my Facebook page here, you have my Twitter handle here. I will share a link of a PDF with you guys. You can download it. You can always download it from our StudyIQ's official Telegram channel. With this, StudyIQ's pen drive and tablet courses are available for you guys. As you can see on your screen, we get a SSC, Bank, UPSC. In UPSC, we cover optional courses as well. Defense courses are there. Then you have a GPSC and MPPCS, KVS, CLAT. And your exams are not far, so we have got test series out for you as well. So make sure you check out StudyIQ.com. If you have any queries, feel free to give us a call on the numbers that you can see on your screen, or you can also utilize the chat support that is available on our StudyIQ.com portal. Now, the first item that we have is a small update, yet it is important. This is associated with this Ministry of Electronics and Information. Now, the deadline for seeding your Aadhaar card with your PAN, or you can say PAN and Aadhaar seeding, the CBDT, that is Central Board of Direct Taxes, they have extended, or it has extended its deadline till 30th June. And same thing applies to this welfare schemes as well. For getting benefits from the government, this deadline has been extended by 3 months. So again, here as well, 30th June is the deadline for both welfare as well as this PAN and Aadhaar seeding. Moving on to another item, a very important decision taken by the cabinet of our country, right? Union cabinet has decided to convert this. Basically, let me give you some background information about this thing, right? This scheme, the scheme for Northeastern Council, including this continuation of existing schemes to boost this development project. How it used to work, development projects, of course, for Northeastern part of our country. You have this 7 states that you can see on your screen, plus 1 you have this Sikkim. So this 8 states are part of our northeastern portion. Now, earlier on, 100% assistance was given by the central government to this northeastern states. Then later on we changed it to 90:10 ratio. So 90% coming from central government, 10% should be contributed by respective states of this northeastern portion. But if we go through the reality or the ground scenario of this northeastern states and governments, then we find that, see, this place is, of course, you know that it has a bit of difficult terrain. The other thing is that you have this chicken's neck here, and because of this thing, it is not possible for us sorry, beg your pardon. It's not possible for us to send items in huge quantity. Air connectivity is expensive, as we know. Apart from that, this portion is landlocked. Now, of course, we have this Kaladan project that is work in progress thing. Once Kaladan multimodal project will be completed, then for the first time in the history of northeastern portion, this northeastern states will have access to sea. But before that, if we go through some ground realities, then we find that here, even today, after 70 years of independence, we have not been successful in developing industries. Mind you, this is a part of our country from where oil was first discovered, but then as well we have not set up that many refineries and things like that supporting industries. Other thing, it is very famous for tea. It is one of the most beautiful places that we can have in our country as far as tourism is concerned. It is clean, it is serene, it is natural. So we have this immense potential here, and if we develop this tea and tourism sector, if we place it or place this two strengths of northeastern states on global platform as well as national platform, then we can change the situation here. We can generate employment. Apart from that, we have this Act East policy of our central government. It is basically connecting this northeastern states with ASEAN, and then this ASEAN and northeastern part can exchange goods, services and other things, culture and other things with each other. And this is again a method to basically develop economic development for our northeastern states. So I hope these things are clear to you now. This is the situation here. Then you have places like Shillong. They are considered as Dehradun of Northeast because you have all these educational institutions and other things are here. So this can be done. And now, because many times they face these states, right? They face even problems when they have to contribute this 10% for this different schemes. So government has decided that 100% will be provided by central government. This is going to be a big boost for northeastern states. I hope this thing is clear to you now. Now moving on to another item, Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs CCEA has approved the continuation of nutrient-based subsidy as well as city compost scheme till 2019. 62,000 crore rupees will be required for this extension, and basically this scheme is for providing subsidized price fertilizers to our farmers. Another important news item, as you can notice, we have many important news item here, and again we have to discuss this special topic, so I'm being bit quick here, but things are very easy to understand. I hope you're finding it easy to understand, because most of you guys are associated with this PIB analysis for a very long period of time, so I'm sure your pre-existing knowledge is helping you here. Now, CBSE paper leak case is a very big issue. It is a very shameful thing as well, but this is the reality. There are few people out there for money, they will do this sort of things as well. Now, at present, the government is saying, or CBSE is saying, that it is going to reconduct the examination for this maths paper for class 10 and economics paper for class 12. HRD Minister Prakash Javadekar has said that government has taken this cognizance of this paper leak, and this is going to be a very sincerely as well as seriously dealt thing. Means government will take it very, government in fact has taken it very seriously, and investigation is underway and strict action will be taken against those people who are involved in this sort of shameful act. Important item from Petroleum Ministry. Now the thing is, India and USA, we have talked about this thing, that relationship between these two countries are at its peak. We have never seen this sort of height as far as bilateral relation of USA and India is concerned. We are climbing new heights every day, and the first consignment of liquefied natural gas is going to be here in couple of weeks. And recently, when I say recently, I mean to say that in last 4-5 years, USA has came out with this shale gas technology, shale oil or shale technology, and they use this thing called fracking. Fracking is basically they pump out this oil and gas that is stored in this sedimentary rocks. So this technology, as far as I know, USA is the only country that is using this technology, and because of this thing, because of this shale gas, USA has placed itself as one of the top oil and gas producing country in the world, and because of this thing we have seen this fall in oil prices and other things. Now, if we compare this LNG with petrol, diesel or coal or other things, then we find that it is more clean. It is reasonably, comparatively, it is quite clean. So it's better that we use more and more LNG for different purposes, and this is what we are going to do with this regular supply of LNG from USA. It will help us to move towards a gas economy. This is going to be a big step in terms of carbon footprint as well. And there is a contract between USA and India that we will get 9 million tons of LNG for long-term contract base, and this itself indicates the vision of both the nations to deepen and broaden this hydrocarbon engagement between both the countries. Moving on to another item coming from ISRO. ISRO is going to launch GSAT 6A with the help of this GSLV. Just keep this thing in mind. It's just a small update, right? The countdown is on, and let's hope that this GSAT is placed in its right position or right orbit without any glitches, and this GSAT is going to help us with our mobile telecommunication technology. So it is going to be a big boost for our internet and other things. Now, international news, it's a good news, you can say, because it is confirmed by international media as well as Indian media that Kim Jong-un had a visit. He visited China. He had a meeting with Xi Jinping, and this is a big thing. This is a big news because we have discussed this thing earlier on, and a special video lecture is available for you guys. Check out our YouTube channel. You will find a special video lecture on this thing, a meeting that is going to take place between USA and Kim Jong-un, or Mr. Trump and Kim. And this is going to be a big thing because we have seen this nuclear problem in this Korean peninsula. As you can see here, this is North Korea here, this is China. China is a neighboring country, and this proliferation of nuclear weapons by North Korea is a big thing. It is a matter of concern for the whole world. It is one of the biggest problem that we are facing at present as far as the peace and security of the world is concerned. But it is also a good news that the sanctions that are applied or tightened by USA as well as other countries, United Nations sanctions, and more recent sanctions by China, because China is 90%, you can say 90% of all the trade of North Korea takes place with China. So we can understand this is one of the reasons why Kim has visited China, and this pressure is mounting on Kim. We have discussed this thing in that special video lecture, so please help yourself with it. Now hopefully a meeting will take place between South Korean president and Kim late April, in this coming late April, and hopefully there will be a meeting of Mr. Trump and Kim this year in May. So let's keep our fingers crossed, and let's hope that this portion of Asia, or this Korean peninsula, becomes free of nuclear weapons. Moving on to another item, very important item here again in terms of your examination. Now, Mahavira is itself a very important topic, as well as Buddha is again another important topic for your preparation for your examination, because you find, as far as civil services are concerned, you find at least one question every year in your prelims examination. Generally speaking, most of the times there is at least one question associated with Mahavira and Buddha, and you find questions based on religion, spirituality, and other things. And generally they are not direct questions, they are indirect questions. They can ask you how it has helped in unification of our country, or how it has constructed a good social fabric of our country, and things like that. So very important things are associated with Mahavira, Buddha, and other you can say lords. Now, President of India, Vice President, as well as Prime Minister, all these dignitaries, they have expressed their greetings with the citizens of our country on this occasion, or on this eve of Mahavir Jayanti. One interesting observation of mine on Mahavir is on Lord Mahavir is that basically he gave us this principle of truth and violence, isn't it? These are the message from Lord Mahavira. But can you imagine a whole religion based on non-violence and truth? This is the beauty of Mahavira, and his principle of live and let live is ingrained in our country. If you observe at global level the way we are doing things, many a times we are provoked in the past, in the recent past as well, to go for a war, but we believe in this thing. It is not just we believe, I may add that we are convinced that it is this principle of peace, love, brotherhood, live and let live. These messages are given by Buddha and Mahavira, or Krishna as well, you can say. And because of this thing, we are in a peaceful state here. We cannot change our neighborhood. We cannot change Pakistan. We cannot have another country over there, isn't it? So the best possible method or route is to ensure that peace and stability is maintained in South Asia, and it is only through peace we will reach a state of you can say where we can say that we are completely developed country, because we have to face this thing as well, that we are a country with the highest amount of poor people living in our country, isn't it, in our society. So we cannot afford this sort of wars and things like that. And when I'm discussing these things, these are not just sweet words or sugary words that I'm sharing with you. These are some real things. If you sit down and think, and this reminds me of a statement of Sushma Swaraj in our parliament. She said that when this Doklam issue was going on at that point of time, she said that it is better to talk now rather to talk after a war, because for ending a war you need to have a chat. So it's better that we have a chat right now, so that we don't face this sort of wars and things like that. Now, Department of Space has got some important updates for us. First one is associated with this Chandrayaan-2. Now, Chandrayaan-2 is going to have this orbiter, lander and rover, and orbiter is going to orbit around the moon in 100 kilometers distance. It is going to orbit around the moon, and then it will send us all this important information regarding topography, element, and then mineralogical, or basically mineral distribution in moon. And we will also get information on subsurface water and other things, water, ice and other things. Then you have this lander and rover. So lander is basically it will come out from this Chandrayaan-2 mission, and then you have this lander that will land on moon, and out of that you will have this rover. So rover and lander, they are going to have a sort of inbuilt, you can say, a laboratory, and they are going to trial and test all these things that they will find. Or this rover will scuttle around in a small area, and then it will collect all these important bits and pieces, and then it will send us pictures and other things. So these are the things that are associated with this Chandrayaan-2. Now, this is going to be a first step, but very important step for us for our next Mars mission, because once we get success in this thing, then we will we will copy paste and bit modify, and then we can apply the same thing in this Mars mission as well. We are planning for rover and lander for Mars mission. It will also help us for landing human beings on moon, and you know, this water that has been found on moon. And once we find other items, then in future, in long term, we can have moon as a sort of place where from Earth you can land on the moon, you get your necessary recharges and everything and refills, and then you can head towards other planets and other things. So this is a first step. IRNSS-1I is scheduled for launch on April 2018, and we found this atomic clock of this IRNSS-1A. They are not functioning properly for a very long period of time. That does not mean that IRNSS, this 1A, is totally out of order. Not at all. We are using disaster alerts and fishing zone information and other things from this 1A version, or this 1A satellite, and this IRNSS-1I is part of this Navik constellation. Moving on to another item, Dr. Jitendra Singh has informed us that this waste that is generated from nuclear power plants are of low and intermediate radioactivity level, and we store it properly, we look after it properly, and we ensure that they are not creating any harm to surrounding area. We have used all these protocols that are designed and set by this Atomic Energy Regulatory Board of our country, and this AERB is, when it comes to this controlling this radioactivities and things like that of this waste material, remember, this is the agency, Atomic Energy Regulatory Board, that looks after this waste material, atomic waste material in our country. Very important item to keep in mind. Now, coming on to our special topic very quickly, autonomy of university. Now, University Grants Commission has said that it is going to allot, or HRD Minister basically said that it is going to provide more autonomy, freedom, right, a free hand for different universities and colleges, so that they can design their own courses, and they can do what they think is best for higher education in for higher education for our country as well as for students and faculty. Now, the thing that we need to keep in mind, and today we are going to focus on these things, that what are the things that we should do. We need a forum for interaction. When I say forum for interaction, I mean to say that universities, teachers and students together, they should be part of this forum with wider world. When I say wider world, I'm talking about this businessmen, and this, if we are talking about IT, then you should have some IT people, experts who are willing to share their expertise and knowledge, and together we can discuss. We can have this forums where this theoretical world as well as practical world can discuss things with each other. They can share their ideas, and this is how you generate outstanding innovative ideas. This is how it works, and this is one of the only method, right? The best method, you can say, one of the best method to create innovation. Why we need innovation? Because with innovation we can produce many goods and services, we can sort out many problems that are faced by the people of our country, and we can change our economy, or the whole economy, from agriculture based economy, or from in agriculture as well. You can say that once you apply knowledge, right, once you have this expert knowledge, innovative knowledge, then this can change the face of agriculture. It can change service sector, it can change our manufacturing sector as well. So we need knowledge. Knowledge should be the base of all different sectors in our economy. Apart from that, when you have this people on board, right, what happens is that we can work on this incremental innovations. Now, generally speaking, everyone is fascinated by this radical innovation. When I say radical innovation, then let's take example of first car in the world produced by this Henry Ford. Now, first car in the world is of course a radical innovation. From horse car to car is a big step, but now generally we, as I told you, normally we fancy this radical innovation, something out of the box, something that we have never seen before. But in reality, what happens is that it is this incremental changes. From first car, today we are talking about electronic vehicles, but in between you can see that we have made many necessary changes, isn't it? First we used to have this three-wheel cars as well, but now we have this more, generally speaking, more cars are four-wheelers, and then you have different shapes and size and other things, petrol, diesel, gas, different variants and hybrids and other things. So these are all part of this incremental or step-by-step innovations, and these are the things that really work. Apart from that, we also need to ensure that we create a bridge between our students and our practical world. When I say practical world, again, now you can imagine I'm talking about this businesses and this practical side of things that are going on in real world, because this is the biggest gap that we find here. Even today, our courses, right, there are many. If you go through universities and colleges, then you will find that many of them are using outdated courses, outdated modules are there, and this is one of the reasons why once our students, when they complete their education, they are not able to find proper placement in the practical world. So we need this, we need to create this bridge. We need more people from practical side to help us in designing our courses and things like that. And the best example that we have is Germany. In Germany, you have a very developed apprenticeship system over there, and what happens is in Germany, that higher education, you have this business people or business groups and employees, they are part of this curriculum development or curriculum design, and with the help of this theoretical world and academic world, they are doing wonders over there. So these are the things that we need. And one of the most important thing, last but not the least, we need to invest heavily in our human capital. And when I say human capital, I'm talking about teachers and faculties. We need to design new ways for their appraisal. We have to fund their capacity building. We need more and more global level, you can say, training institution for our teachers and for our professors and research fellows and things like that. And once we have good tools, right, when I'm saying tools, I mean to say this, once we have the good faculties, then they can create other good faculties and other good citizens. So basically you are creating leaders capable enough to create some more leaders. We need this sort of leaders and this sort of faculties. So I hope this sort of things, or discuss the things that we have discussed, has helped you in understanding a big thing that, or necessary changes that are required in our higher education. These are your answers. These are your new questions. That's everything in today's discussion, dear friends. Thank you very much for listening. And please do share this lecture with your friends. Please give us your like if you have learned something, and don't forget to pass your answers and your comments. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.